Hey guys, welcome to day 5 of my 90 days to 5K per month challenge. Yesterday I had shared my results from my Airbnb listing, shared my response to the video Airbnb arbitrage is dead, and my pitch script to a landlord. In case you missed it, I put the link down below. Today I was originally going to talk about getting in front of a landlord and setting up the rental, but I ended up um, looking at houses all day and the plan got changed. I may have mentioned this before, but currently my wife and I are looking for a new house. Not purely to Airbnb, but for us to move to as our home for the next 5 to 10 years as we are planning to have children. But if the same house can be used for Airbnb, that's all the better. Even though initially it may seem like there's not a lot of correlation between looking at houses as a new home buyer versus looking at rentals with Airbnb potential, there's actually quite a bit in common. And I'll share what I learned today, which is quite interesting. In the beginning, when I started this search, I was looking mostly at the photos. I was focused on which houses looked the best, and that was my main criteria and the price. But the more houses I look at, the more I've become more discerning in which ones I save to my favorites. Currently, my top criteria is the location. And location is everything. As you if are familiar with McDonald's, like their whole business is centered around location. They only build restaurants. They only buy land in the most desirable parts of the city with lots of foot traffic, and with that type of with that type of environment, any restaurant will be very successful. Today I drove for 30 minutes to some places, and the house was pretty amazing. But I asked myself as I was in the house, if it takes me more than 30 minutes just to drive to my favorite store, it's Costco, I do that every week, would I still enjoy living in this house, and do I still have a high quality of life? The answer is no. So I would rather live closer to my favorite spots and pay a higher price than to sacrifice my time and leisure for a house that I enjoy, but I don't have as much time to enjoy since it's farther away from everything. The next priority is price. That's obvious to most people. I've also narrowed this to a price range where I would feel comfortable paying the mortgage even if I lost my job. I learned from living in California that just because I can afford something does not mean that it's a good idea. And always live below my means, and that means houses with that cost between 500K to 600K. And the next criteria is specific to me personally, to our future family. We want houses that are close to good public schools. I look for a rating of 7 or higher, and that alone eliminates many houses from our search. And finally, we look at the uniqueness of the house. One thing I've noticed with a lot of new neighborhoods is that all the houses look almost identical. The floor plans might be slightly different, but the outside, the building material, it's uh, it looks okay. But when you take a look at it closely, you can see that the quality is not as good as older houses. The wood is lower quality, and there seems to be more uh, like a cheap feel. If I'm going to be living in a house for 5 to 10 years, I at least demand that the quality is something that I enjoy, and I don't have to worry about it falling apart or having to be replaced in a couple of years. The things that really stand out to me in a great house are the flooring. I personally love hardwood floors. The next best thing are laminate floors. They just give a clean, modern feel. And also very important are a newly remodeled kitchen and new bathroom. On the older houses that don't have these remodeled, it just doesn't feel the same. And for a house that we plan to stay for several years, these are also essential. And the last thing would be the cherry on the cake, which is short-term rental potential. For this, I'm thinking mostly Airbnb. If there are extra rooms that we can rent out through Airbnb and have their own separate entrance, that's perfect for it, because when guests come and leave, we don't even have to interact with them. Not that I'm not a social person, but even even when we are away or not home, we can give the guests instructions to self-check in, and that just makes it a more turnkey automation. And essentially, this is a self-sustaining business. Next, I'm going to share the analysis I've did on some rental properties and the properties that I'm considering purchasing. Okay, you guys are gonna love this. I meant to show this earlier. Basically, I created a spreadsheet that helps me calculate how much expected profit I can generate from each rental property. Here, one of the main variables is the number of bedrooms. That's going to be a major determinant of how much profit we make, because the more rooms we are renting out, the more rent we can collect. In this example, we have a 2-bedroom apartment where the rent is $1,200 per month. And based on AirDNA data, the occupancy rate is 46%. And the daily average cost to stay is $128. And based on this formula I wrote, that's an estimated profit of $2,332 each month. Bear in mind, this is just a very rough estimate, and it does not include the Airbnb's commission. So your actual amount will be a bit less, but this is just to get a ballpark figure for how much in gross income your room will generate. I did the first 3 on day 1 and the next 3 on day 2, and my jaws almost fell to the floor when I saw this one. At first glance, it just seemed like a normal apartment, but the occupancy rate was 72%, and the potential revenue was $159. Assuming that we have assuming that we rent all 3 rooms out at this occupancy rate, we'll be able to generate almost $9,000 in profit each month off one rental. That is mind blowing. And this is something I'm definitely going to pursue and see if I can get even close to this when it comes to rental. But so far, none of the landlords I've reached out have responded. I'm going to evaluate my strategy and do try something different in the next video. And jumping to today, the houses I saw that I'm most likely going to purchase are also doing pretty well. The difference from the rentals is that we'll have a mortgage payment instead of rent payment. And even after mortgage payment, we are still left with a hefty profit. These houses have more than 3 bedrooms, but since we'll be living in one of them, I've reduced the numbers. This is assuming that we occupy 1 bedroom and keep one open for the office and rent out the remaining 3. And this is enough to not only cover our mortgage, but we have this much left over. Again, this does not include the Airbnb commission, so your mileage may vary, but so far it's looking like a very good opportunity. In my next video, I will do a deeper dive into how to be a good Airbnb host, what type of furniture to get, and how to make the listing stand out. And stay tuned for that one. And this wraps it up for today. If you liked my video, please hit like, and if you'd like to follow my journey for more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any updates. You guys are awesome. Until next time, peace.